fuck out of bed, bitch. Go.
You're finished! No!
Get up and then I go. Gotta wake up, bitch. Get up.
Oh.
Get up. Get up.
Before it, launch the counterattack.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the FMA Dumpster Fire podcast. Today, it is going to be a dumpster fire. We're going to be talking about knife ambushes. All right. I was a little bit hesitant to share this stuff with you, but I think I found a framework or a reason to share some of these things. I know a lot of you guys already know this stuff. For some of you, this might be new. I'm going to be showing a video here shortly that you don't really see too often, at least not in the Filipino martial arts. You don't see much of it in traditional martial arts. And this is because it is a very, very humiliating and humbling exercise that myself and Coach Steve Dinamo did. By the way, do me a favor, go on Instagram, look up s.denamo, follow him. Really, really interesting, really great coach. So today at the boudoir, we were working on some Piper material. For those of you who may be unfamiliar with a Piper system, it's an African-based knife system. I don't really know very much about it, but what I do know is that there is a focus on preemption, meaning to say there's a lot of focus on the tactical utilization of deception, right? Masking our movements in order to circumvent defenses and things like that. So as we progressed through that, we began to wonder, like, hey, you know, all these Filipino martial arts systems, a lot of these instructors say you will be cut. And so we put ourselves in really desperate positions. I had my back turned to Coach Steve, and he did a series of ambushes. Now, I know what a lot of you might be thinking. Situational awareness will prevent all of that stuff. And for anyone who believes that you can live your life maintaining 100% situational awareness at all times, I gotta say, you're kidding yourself. So without further ado, I'm gonna play you this video, and then we're gonna deconstruct it. We're gonna talk about it a little bit. I look forward to your commentary about this topic. I'm not a subject matter expert on this stuff. I am just an explorer, but I do talk to a lot of subject matter experts on this stuff. I'm not going to be offering you too many solutions to this, because there really isn't any solution. You just got to fight. You got to fight through it. You got to, I suppose if there's any lesson to this is it would be to put yourself in these positions in training, put yourselves in really bad situations. I know for a lot of people who are instructors is maybe a difficult thing, because there is no escaping getting your ass poked with holes. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and watch this video. Let's watch it together. Please pay attention. I'm gonna remove these banners so we can get a nice good view of it. Here it is.
You want me to say go?
No.
Jeez. That was worst case scenario.
Oh. But yeah, I'm taking stabs right away. Oh, that was bad.
That was worth it, right?
That was terrible. He just. I mean, I'm finished, right? Boom. That's his entry.
That was worth it, right?
Contact is made. Something to just turn. You can go for the kid, dude. You can do anything. You can try to cover my mouth. Literally anything. I just want to see what comes out. Oy. Whoa. Holy shit. That was scary, man.
Good answer.
That was scary. I'm gonna let you guys see that
Whoa,
again. That was tricky. That was a really...
That was scary, man.
Good answer.
That was scary.
Boom. Finished.
Whoa, that was good. I turned around and you weren't there. Grabbed.
I'm going to pause the video right here, you guys. Okay. I have to preempt this part of the video. It's really important. This part of the video will have Coach Steve and I deconstructing a tactic on the bad guys side. We focus on one thing, but principally speaking, you can expound upon this. And the general concept is, if the person you're ambushing is trained, what are some common things they might do? And how do we circumvent that? We're going to show one thing. It has something to do with knife switching. The subsequent discussion may be a little iffy. I just want you to know that this is for educational purposes. And I hope the good guys find it interesting. There are going to be people out there who think about these things. Think about, how do we circumvent a trained reaction? And hopefully what this will lead to, for educational purposes only, of course, is the perpetuation of this cat and mouse game that we already know happen. Good guys apply a tactic, bad guys change it up, good guys have to see this change and analyze it in order to formulate a counter to it, and then this cat and mouse game continues. This is nothing new. It's nothing innovative. It's stuff that's already out there. I just wanted to give a bit of context. We're doing this for educational purposes, and hopefully it serves somebody some good, even just to think about it. I think it's important. All right, I'm going to play the rest.
Snitch. I see the knife. Oh, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. One more time. Slow. Yeah.
I'm trying. Oh. I intend to switch to.
Oh. So you intend
Stop.
to
Switch.
switch.
Yes.
Bop, 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 bop.
Switching is beautiful.
Some assassin shit, though. I mean, like, who the fuck needs to learn that for self-defense? Here's how you stab somebody who's trained, because they're gonna try to go for that arm. Therefore, you anticipate it.
Yeah.
I think as far as using it for self-defense, it would be as a training methodology to put yourself under like the extreme worst conditions.
Boom.
To focus on working past shock, working past the unexpected. So I think there's definitely a value to training like assassinative, ambush, highly sophisticated, preemptive murder shit. I mean, fuck, you're just standing there. I know you're trained. So just simply going at it may not work. So you go for a tactic that sort of capitalizes on what they're likely to do, which is grab that weapon-bearing limb, put 2-on-1 into it, and you preempt it with a switch.
We can't boast it. But that being said, if you were put in a situation where you had to approach someone and do this kind of work, you'd want to set it up.
Oh.
I would never just come in like this.
Yeah.
No way.
I think if it's going to be assassinated, it would be strong momentary control with fucking solid target acquisition.
Yeah.
Go for the kill switch, go for things that will
Yeah. You're clinching.
facilitate a faster bleed out. This is all fantasy stuff. Like, I'm not gonna be fucking boarding a ship and fucking stealthily taking down sentries or anything. I think if it's going to be assassinated, it would be strong momentary control with fucking solid target acquisition.
Yeah.
Go for the kill switch, go for things that will
Yeah. You're clinching.
facilitate a faster bleed out. This is all fantasy stuff. Like, I'm not gonna be fucking boarding a ship and fucking stealthily taking down sentries or anything.
Worth noting
Hopefully.
again.
Hopefully
not.
But it would be, literally, I think those would be stealth being a given, meaning I can get to that position.
Now it's
right?
just
That's
the
a
hard
given.
part.
If that is a given, then I think the two priorities are control and target acquisition. And target acquisition is depth of penetration,
Yeah.
it's force,
Good target.
yeah.
Good target.
All right, let's talk about that. So, if you're going to be assassinative, what you're likely to go for is momentary control and solid target acquisition. Now, what can we do about that? The video that you just saw, I can't really say that I'm proud of any of those responses. They are just things that happened. Let's talk about the reasons why some of these things aren't trained or shown. I get it. Some people have a boundary about what they're willing to discuss and put out there. You've seen those military diagrams of, these soldiers taking down sentries. They get them from the back. They have that momentary control, and then it's target acquisition. Won't tell you what those, targets are, but you can probably figure it out. And I think, as discussed in the video, what is the purpose, really, as far as self-defense goes? What's the purpose of even thinking about this stuff, right? And I think really it's to be able to formulate ideas on how to survive. But I think the really important thing is the hardest thing to do, which is to train this stuff out. And admittedly, the stuff that we did there, the pressure was light, right? We were in this explorative kind of condition. We were under the initial stages of that kind of training for that day. But I think it's really, really important as Filipino martial artists that we don't fool ourselves into believing that we're always going to have 100% situational awareness, that the knife that we're going to use for defense is going to magically appear in our hands. So you can take the video that I just showed you and you can extrapolate. And this is what I hope people do is, first of all, it has deficiencies, right? That wasn't a perfect model of a test, not even close. We weren't even working specific responses. I was just sort of wondering what would come out. And a lot of those things were angling out, flailing my arms, looking for control, but mainly disengagement. In an ambush situation, you want to create distance as soon as possible. So far, for me, the best thing that has worked the most consistently is landing something to their head, whether you're pushing their head down, whether you're striking them, you're slapping them, but the reactions need to be immediate. And from there, God knows, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I would just like to propose to my fellow Filipino martial artists that if we are going to really approach the knife, and if we're going to propose that this beautiful, elegant, and sophisticated martial art have any use in self-defense, we need to get uncomfortable and find logical ways to continually test these concepts. And I think another warning would be not to be so quick to draw conclusions from our testing. There are a lot of biases that are clear and easy to identify, but there are so many more biases that we subconsciously or unconsciously integrate into our training, whether that is to prove something doesn't work or to prove that something does work. Be mindful of your biases and be mindful as to how you conduct such testing and how you interpret the conclusions from these tests, because I've learned that you really cannot compose a reliable set of tests that will yield the same results for absolutely everybody. And so just be careful when you're pressure testing, when you're quality controlling these concepts, that just because it worked once doesn't mean it won't work again, and vice versa. Just because it didn't work that one time, be mindful not to abandon what may be in our testing, seemingly useless techniques. And this is very difficult. This is getting very convoluted, because on the one hand, we ought to be able to identify, just based on logic, even without pressure, whether or not something logically has a chance of working. Again, my only warning is not to allow yourself to be fooled into thinking that the conclusions of your tests are going to be repeatable across the board. We're just talking about probability here, right? So that's really all I have to say. I welcome your commentary. Sorry about that. Just remember that the purpose of me showing this video is to get people thinking, to get people asking questions. Why don't we see more of this kind of stuff? Why don't we see Filipino martial artists put themselves behind the 8 ball into these terrible, 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 desperate conditions? Why don't we do more of that stuff? And I think we know the answer is ego, right? These tests, I mean, it begins with you getting cut. It begins with you getting stabbed. There's also that element of, well, now we have to kind of analyze what effects these imaginary cuts and stabs really have. We have to pretend. We got to play a little bit of what if, a little bit of a fantasy role play here. He opens with a femoral cut. How long do I really have? Will I go into shock? Some of my reactions were pretty good, but I'm not going to rely on them, right? It's still a crapshoot, and I think that's something that Filipino martial artists, practitioners, students, and teachers alike ought to really take into serious account and not just pay lip service to. I think it's really important that not only do we do these tests, but we share them. I think it's really important. So yeah, that's all I got today. Thank you guys very much. I'm still a little bit shook. This is some serious shit, you guys. Some serious shit. We're talking about knife ambushes here and how it relates to our craft, our art that we love, love, love so much. So again, there's nothing wrong with just staying within the framework of artistic self-expression in the Filipino martial arts. I just think that if you're going to be one of those people who propose that Filipino martial arts is a valid self-defense option, that we get self-defensey with it, and that sometimes means it means getting uncomfortable, it means getting humiliated, it means being honest and take account of our failures, our discrepancies, our areas for improvement. And at the same time, I still think we can enjoy the sophistication and the elaboration of the Filipino martial arts. It's absolutely beautiful. It's wide, it's deep, it's nuanced. It can be simple, it can be complex. So just find what you love about it. Stick to that. But once in a while, get uncomfortable. All right, a little bit of commentary here. Angel, I want to watch this, but I'm at work. It sucks. Hope you watch it later. standing near a wall or facing a wall or other obstacles is a fun element to add to that test because it will change the set of viable responses. Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Todd Fossey of Integrative Defense Strategies, and I give a shout out to Coach Greg Nelson from the Minnesota Martial Arts Academy. They have like Wall Wednesdays. I can't even also discuss wall fighting without mentioning Chad Lyman and C4C, folks like Jared Wihungi from the Pekiti Tertia Tactical Association. This is some serious shit. Doesn't mean we can't have fun with it, right? Doesn't mean we can't express ourselves artistically. So guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the first part of that video again, and then I'm going to sign off. But thank you for your commentary. I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting Filipino Martial Arts Source. If you like this content, I just ask that you hit that subscribe button so I can keep this stuff going. Here it is. Here's the video one more time.
Do you want me to say go?
No. Jeez.
That was worst case scenario.
But yeah, I'm taking stabs right away.
This is nasty. Oh my God. Done. Got one. That was a bad one,
That
man.
was worth it, right?
Contact is...
That was a bad one.
That was worth.
Imagine that. Oi.
Oh.
That was worth it, right?
Contact is made, something to just turn. And
You were leaning for it.
you can go for the kid, dude. You can do anything. You can try to cover my mouth, literally anything. I just want to see what comes out. Oy! Whoa! Holy shit! That was scary, man.
Good answer.
That was scary.
You're
Whoa, that
gonna
was
rewind
good.
that one.
I turned around and you weren't there.
Bicep control. A lot of underhooks. A lot of face pushes. All right, that's the end of that. Okay, guys, thank you guys very much for watching FMA Source. If you need to watch any of that stuff back, just rewind it. It'll be good for the algorithm. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining us here today. Peace.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go.
You're finished! Ah,
Get up. Get Gotta wake up, bitch. Get up.